when I see something I don't like, I don't just want to say I don't like it and leave it be. I want to try and explain how within the confines of their own narrative and their own technology and everything they're establishing, I would have personally preferred to see it go. I just don't want to hand wave things away and it's like, I didn't like it. The end. Oh, hey everybody. That's fair. Welcome to another episode of Drink Tank. I'm joined by my buddy Plumber once again, and we are here to discuss Troll 2 Geolithic Boogaloo.
Nilbog is gobbling backwards.
Yeah, and they actually make a Nilbog joke in it. You know they had to.
Wait, which Troll 2 are we discussing?
Oh, the Netflix one.
Oh, the one that came out on December 1st?
The one that we just watched.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. I rewatched the first one in advance.
Me too.
And I like the first one. I think there's some flaws in it. The third act I think is a little wonky. They established characters pretty strong in the beginning of the movie, and then it kind of goes off the rails a little later. But overall, I found it to be quite enjoyable. So obviously, if you have not seen the first Troll, which by the way, the first Troll review I did on this video did very well, hit like 33,000 views or something like that. So I appreciate that. Let's do a quick spoiler. Spoiler free, would you recommend Troll 2, the Netflix one? Yes, no, why?
I think if you liked Troll, and I mean liked Troll, didn't love it,
right,
but liked it. I think that it's a decent movie. It's got, that whole, we're going to explore this kind of, like the themes of the troll and Christianity, and then we're going to, it's got that weird little Dan Brown light, national treasure type exploration thing. It has a troll. It has the troll doing some horrific violence. I thought it was fun. I would recommend it as long as you're not looking for a serious movie.
I think that's fair. I did not enjoy it as much as you did. I think it was a little all over the place in terms of what I thought it was trying to accomplish. It feels like an intermediary movie. I guess the goal is they're going to do a third Troll at some point, maybe. Who knows?
It depends on how well this one does, I assume.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but this one, I feel there's a lot of stuff that they introduce that's kind of unnecessary and doesn't really help progress like your initial, push for narrative, which, it's essentially the same plot structure as the first one. I mean, let's be honest, but they have more knowledge in this one, which I feel they don't utilize quite as successfully as they should. It almost feels like they did a reset on everyone, and everybody has to build back up to their levels of competency that we had seen at the end of the first one, which even then it was still kind of, in my opinion, not the greatest finale. I think there's quite a bit in this one that just holds it back from being as fun and as campy as the first one. So I didn't like this one as much as the first one. And I don't know. I don't think it's as strong a recommendation for me as, because I really did think the first Troll was mostly good. Again, I have problems with the ending, but whatever. There's a few things in it that are just zany. And if you had told me these were like Sci-Fi Channel original movies, I'd be like, okay, I get it. So I didn't care for the second one as much as the first one would be my thing. So I don't know. Not a strong recommendation, but honestly, I've wasted my time on other things. So I didn't feel my time was completely wasted in this one. I just didn't. Having just watched the first one immediately prior, though, the two of them in juxtaposition together, like putting them against each other's quite some big differences, which we'll get into. So.
Yeah, I do think the Troll was more dynamic and interesting in the first one. Like the Troll was, it had a specific goal that was pretty, I don't know, wasn't quickly revealed, but in the first one, the Troll was going to find like its ancient home and where it had left like its family essentially.
Right.
And they were figuring that out as it went. It was pretty well paced in their little explorations and discovery of the trolls. But the problem is by the time you get to the second one, we know that about the trolls.
Right.
So they can't like rediscover things. And so what they're discovering about like the trolls' relationship to Christianity is already slightly redundant.
Yeah, it's old news.
But the way that they were discovering it was kind of fun. For me, I did not have any problems with them going, Dan Brown light on 20 minutes of the movie.
I didn't mind that so much either.
And the thing is, like, the characters kind of continued their arcs pretty well from my perspective.
I think there was a few kind of resets. I think they reset the daughter so she could follow more in the footsteps of the father, which we then see played out in that they kind of reset Major Chris. He gets a little bit of a reset because not that there was a lot of like chemistry between him and the main girl in the first one. Like there's a little bit of flirtation. He's obviously more chemistry with. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was a ghost.
Oh my goodness. All right, so before I was so rudely interrupted by the ghost or somebody trying to communicate to me from the upside down all the Stranger Things.
Or troll stomping.
Troll stompings. Oh my God, they do so many troll stompings in this movie.
Well, why wouldn't you? Trolls stomp.
They do, but they stomp and they disrupt things from so far away that when they get close, it's like it should be in theory more destructive as it's closer to the epicenter of the troll stomp, but that never seems to happen. I don't know. It's just something like, I don't know. Like in Jurassic Park, as the closer the T-Rex gets, the ripples get bigger. In this one, they don't do anything quite like that, which is fine. It's not that they don't have to be the same movie. I do think a couple of the characters reset. I don't think like the woman who was in charge of the troll thing. It's like she's like at first she shows up and I think like she's supposed to be antagonistic. Like I was like, oh, here comes your bureaucrat.
Yeah, you kind of expect the bureaucrat to be, you can't do that. Let me stop you. Oh no, I've been eaten by troll. Like that is the very typical character arc of.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, like she hangs out with Major Chris for a little bit, and they start making like googly eyes at each other.
Immediately.
Yeah, and it's like, oh well, I guess that's that.
All right, let's move into spoilers because
yeah, I think we're skirting
yeah,
it.
we're skirting it.
So, all right, you've been warned. Spoilers from this point forward. Also, Dad, if you want to cross, now would be a good time.
He's not there. That was your dog.
The dog went to the door by himself.
Yeah.
Really? All right, so we
Dog.
All right, so we're in spoiler territory now. You've been warned. What are some of the spoilers that you would like to discuss?
Oh, when do spoilers really begin? Because, I mean, is waking the Megatroll really a spoiler? Using the song?
I think it's part of I would say that's part of the setup of the film.
Well, I guess one of the spoilers is she wakes up the Megatroll knowing the song had worked on Beautiful.
Right. Yes, I agree. So, because when she went up to do it, I was like, oh, it's the song, we were talking about it. It's the song the mom sang to her about the one troll and the 13 baby trolls, right? Mm-hmm. And the mom tied their trolls together. I was confused about that because I thought it was like a Rat King thing. And you were like, I don't think so. I think it's just harsh parenting.
Like gluing babies' butts together.
But it was funny because she was being brought in on the project to get results, right? So they're like, come on in, help us. Our funding's about to go out. We need you. And what does she do? She sneaks off, like just say yes and walk over there. You don't have to sneak around. You were invited. There is no reason for subterfuge.
But they would probably stop her if she started singing troll songs to trolls.
Yeah, you gotta pay the troll toll. But like, it was just like, she doesn't need to sneak around. You're part of this now. I didn't like how it started with her kind of being like discredited. They kind of imply that like she's like some kind of weirdo.
I don't think she was discredited. I think she left on her own accord because
that makes more
she
sense.
Disagreed with the direction the troll research was going.
I'll give you that.
She wanted to see them as part of nature, whereas the government was like, must destroy.
Also, her living not that far from the other mountains, so that way she could communicate with Beautiful. That makes more sense. Because they had those headlines where it's like, leaves troll thing, and you're right. In my mind, I'm always like, she was forced out.
Both of those things both of the things, her waking the troll and her living there, make a lot more sense once you realize she'd already been in contact with Beautiful.
Yes.
Which actually is really helpful to the movie. I mean, it's to the movie's credit.
Well, I would say it's to the movie's detriment because Beautiful doesn't do anything. He gets his ass kicked twice.
But that's not a big problem. I mean, Megatroll, like, Beautiful was a baby, and he's been raised by a pit
Well, sort of.
Whereas Megatroll was a mega fighting troll, we assume.
Yes, because he was part of the warrior trolls he was frozen in time for like 1,000 years. Did they ever really explain why he was stuck?
Yeah. So he could wake up.
Oh yeah, right. So the movie could happen. So yeah, Megatroll. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we needed Beautiful introduced as early as we did, simply because he doesn't do anything. They introduce him and then they quickly disappear, which I think is
the thing about him being there is it lets you know that Nora has this knowledge of trolls that help with Megatroll because she's been with Beautiful.
No, I understand that.
No. I don't think you
saying-
do, because you just said
don't.
we don't need him that early.
It doesn't work because, all right, so they introduce him to communicate with Megatroll. Their communication goes bad real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Baby drops out of the movie until the finale.
Right.
I think.
But knowing
It's not-
that's why she has the knowledge, otherwise you'd just be like, what, she went to the woods and found a book and now she knows all this crap about trolls?
I would have been okay with it if it had been like her attempting to incorporate her mother and father's teachings, and she was.
It's better that she actually knew a troll, and that's where she was getting her information from.
All right, so even plot structure wise, though, the movie does not make good use of Beautiful at all, and that's a problem.
It makes fine use of Beautiful.
He disappears for half the movie.
So?
Why introduce him just?
Why is every character supposed to be in the movie at all times?
No, but every character should have Puppies. Goodbye, Hanklin. So, anyways, yeah, I just don't think when you introduce the son of the Mountain King, I expect him to be in a little bit more of the movie. I guess would have been my expectation. Her communicating.
But he's not a character; he's a force of nature. It's like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. He shows up in the first third of the movie, disappears for another third of the movie.
I would disagree that the whole point of communicating with him is to remove the force of nature aspect that was prevalent in the first film. And in this point, it's like, no, he's more humanistic than we did. They also discuss how they're very similar biologically to trees. And so, like, you know, they always say, because that's what they said the inside is more akin to trees than humans. And that could explain.
Still had art.
They still had a heart. Well, they showed us at the beginning, and part of the mythology is the heart clad in ice and stone or whatever it was. But the idea then that they could communicate through song, I thought was going to be a bigger thing, but they just growl at each other. And so this is twice now in both movies, they've said, oh, it's been a melancholy, sorrowful song. They haven't really used it, and I'm still waiting for the troll song. But I think the whole point of introducing Junior is that you have the troll on your side, and that you are humanizing him to a greater degree.
But he has been humanized. He almost died twice trying to stand up for humans, both times. Even though the second time he had no reason to. He did have reason to. He knew Nora, he was friends with her, and he trusted her.
Right.
And so to go, they see Megatroll about to do it. He's tried to help, which is, I think, what we needed to see from the good troll. We didn't need to see him win. We needed to see him try.
All right, I agree he didn't need to win. You're allowed to lose the first one.
You're allowed to lose the second one.
You are. But he needs to make a contribution aside from just being a distraction who gets beat up. I think
that is a huge contribution. And then he finished the Megatroll.
Yes, in more troll combat.
He ripped through the back of his chest and pulled out the heart. It was cool.
I have a lot of problems with the end of this movie.
You have a lot of problems with everything.
That's not true.
Your head, disgusting and bald. Your beard, why is this part longer than the rest of your beard?
It just grows
That
weird.
beard, terrible. Your ears, like that.
Half of them's pointy. So I think the problem is they set themselves up too much time when they said they had the 2 hours and they were trying to do like the holy water express to all the ammunitions, only for it to come down to dropping a holy water bomb from a helicopter, which in my opinion would have been the first thing you tried, because that's one of the cool things in the first Troll movie that I think this one is lacking, is the checkpoint system of them trying to stop the troll every step of the way on his march to Oslo. In this one, there's a lot of like, oh no, now we're just here at Trondheim, or
Well, they had the Sunny situation, which was, they probably thought that was the perfect solution. Maybe retrofitting. I mean, okay, let's talk about military funding.
Right.
Are you gonna outfit 20 helicopters for one scenario, or are you gonna do 2 when you believe that's gonna work? The military is gonna do the path of least resistance. So anyway, they had that plan, didn't work. And now on the path there, we know the UV sunlight. There's no power station in between there that's going to power all the UV things. Maybe they could have set it up there. Maybe there were enough tanning beds. Maybe there weren't enough tanning beds in
Hated the
Trondheim.
tanning beds.
Yeah, I hated that too. Specifically just because they were tanning beds.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you're talking fantasy, just ignore it.
It's problematic though because you and I can get sunburnt from the cloud. Like if it's like overcast, you and I can still get sunburnt. So that's how much UV radiation's coming through. You turn a tanning bed on the other side of the room, I'm not impacted.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you like a TV series franchise called Star Trek?
I do.
Oh, have you ever noticed that when their shields get hit, everything in the command center explodes?
I have noticed.
Interesting. Anyway.
But what I'm saying is when you're pointing out something like UV, like the flashlight in the first one is what establishes the UV thing, right? And they're like, oh, what's a bigger version of that? A tanning bed? I'm like, I'm not so sure.
It is.
Well, the proximity to it is certainly meant, like, it is different than cloud cover. There's more UV coming through cloud cover than there is from a tanning bed 30 feet away from it. There just is. That's just how it works. But that's neither here nor there.
Are you sure?
I would bet a fair amount on it.
That's just how it works. I would bet a fair amount.
I am. It's like I can't prove it for sure because I don't have like data in front of me. I've never measured it myself. But
you're
tell
positive, and you can just say it because it's true.
I have been sunburnt in February in overcast weather. Yes, it's because remember it's the UV light. It's going to be the radiation of it. It's not the light itself. It's the radiation.
And tanning beds give off radiation.
Not to the same extent. All right, I don't. What I'm saying is, in the first troll, they tried to stop him in many different ways, and they had like checkpoints.
Right.
In this one, they essentially give up and say, all right, it's on a 2-hour march. They immediately discover the holy water. It's not the silver. I think it would have been nice if it was a combination of the two.
It was weird because they were like, the silver doesn't corrode, so you can put water on it, and it's like, no.
See, I thought it was going to be like the silver doesn't corrode, so if you impale like their
Right.
brain with it,
Right.
they can't regenerate. Like vampires.
And anything other than just it's a great vessel for holy water.
Yeah.
Anything other than that. And the tapestries, they always have this gigantic two-handed sword.
I know. They're always
I
cutting
was
their
waiting
heads
for
off.
that, like the sword to get like. But anyway,
Dude, coat a helicopter blade in silver and have it fly into its neck.
okay, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. No, but instead they're doing like holy water, which they have a ton of.
Because of the mystic spring of Saint Olaf
Saint
that
Olaf.
runs through. I mean, if you're going to do a mass amount of holy water, that's a great way to do it.
I agree. I also agree with you that they should have turned the river or like the moat around the church into holy water.
Yeah, like had like 20 priests just praying.
Yeah,
over
no
it.
kidding, right? Or just throw the saints' bones in the water. Sorry, bro.
Sorry, this has turned into unholy water for your sacrilege. More trolls come up out of it.
Oh man. But like they should have been able to, because they had a helicopter, fly it out a little ways outside of the city before you start using artillery and ordnance to hope it works in your desperate last stand, which by the way, the moment you find out it works, you're like, okay, we'll retreat. Because this isn't like an end of the world scenario. He did what? Destroys a holy church and you gotta fight him the next time? He's like, sunlight's coming up at some point. Like this guy's campaign of like terror will stop at some point. And tell you, even if you like, let's just wait for him to fall asleep and then just drop an anvil of holy water and silver on him and crush him. Like, there's nothing so pressing that you cannot retreat and regroup in this situation. But they treat it like this is like, we only have this one chance. Because at least in the first one, they're like, we got to stop it before the missile fucking destroys Oslo. Because that's bad news bears. In this one, it's...
Well, he was going to destroy all of Trondheim. Whatever. And that's bad. So
Only if you live in Trondheim, which I don't. But like...
I'm willing to sacrifice as many villages I don't live in as it takes.
I'm pulling the Zap Brannigan method. Throw wave after wave of Norwegian at him. I did think it was interesting in this one when he just starts like constantly eating people.
Oh yeah.
Because one of the first people we see him eat, or like the first event we see him start munching on people on, is clearly some rich douchebag ski resort thing. And I was like, oh, he's hunting the blood relatives of St. Olaf.
You did say that.
I was wrong.
They were just there, and he
They
was
were
like,
just there.
"We've been sleeping a while, bro.
Oh,
This
man.
organic matter is great for my stomach.
I got the munchies.
So much calcium in these youths."
So, yeah, I was just, I didn't care for this one as much as I did the first one. I'm not mad at it, by any stretch of the imagination. They're still fun movies. I just think this one, I think they did the unnecessary reset on a lot of things. I always find it more interesting with the knowledge we have moving forward. Like, the helicopters was a step in the right direction, right? That was awesome. But they only had two.
Right.
And I constantly was thinking about, like the first time Godzilla attacks, and then next thing you know, they build like laser cannons. They're like, let's see this guy get through this. I would have liked a little more, just in terms of that. It's fine, but it wasn't. I can't get over that ending. It's like you should have flown a helicopter with holy water. Like, do they not have like those planes and helicopters that put out mass fires in Norway? Think about it. They're like those California, like those scoop ones, right?
What are they going to scoop from?
Well, maybe not that specifically, but you know what I'm saying? It's like you could still take a helicopter, load it up with a bunch of holy water, fly over the troll and drop it on it and be like, well, ain't that a thing? Also, why did they never...
So they're going to drop it from a helicopter after fire brigading that amount to the helicopter to fill it up?
Well, they had the bombs in the jugs. So they had several bombs. They at least had enough to do the whole coastline. You could have put like 4 or 5 of them together and dropped it from the helicopter as a proof of concept. Because that's something they would have done in the first movie, remember? Because in the first movie, it's like...
Oh yeah, they would have done that in the first movie.
Because they had every step until it got to the city.
There's steps before the city where we're going to shoot it.
Yeah, they were. But they also did the ridiculous church bell thing.
Oh, that's true.
So I mean, there were like, we're going to test it before it gets close to the city. And I think with 2 hours, they could have tried it, and it would have felt more in line with like the... Let's try everything before it gets there, and then you got like 3 people shooting rocket propelled grenades. Yeah, it was okay. It's not my favorite. I prefer the first one. I still think the first one. And when are they going to activate the Wall of Trolls? This is the second time now they've brought up Troll Wall Mountain.
Yeah, but those trolls are dead.
Oh,
They were turned to stone at a fake wedding.
that's true.
Like that.
But
and we know that getting turned to stone equals dead.
If they explode, I don't know. I don't know. Am I specifically overanalyzing Troll 2? He's going to say yes.
Yep.
But I mean,
You're trying to give specific scenarios that you would do in a war against trolls. That's like watching a zombie movie and going, well, why don't you do the X, Y, Z, Y,
I'm not
X?
trying to give like specific. I'm trying to explain when I come up with something that I think is negative, right? In this case, why didn't they try and use the holy water sooner? I'm trying to navigate within the resources the movie had established at that point as to how I would have preferred to see like the trial and error process, which was so prevalent in the first one. And it really helps. I really liked that in the first one because it really felt like, okay, well, now we're going to try the supernatural stuff because these cannons don't work. Things like that. So
In Jaws, why didn't they go back and get a bigger boat once they realized they needed one?
they never made it back to shore from that point forward.
They never tried to.
Well, Quint went insane, let's not forget, and destroyed the radio when Brody tried to call for help because he was obsessed with killing the shark himself. So you can do these things when it's like character motivations, right? Like Quint was now like, nope, I'm in charge. You don't go behind my back, right? And Quint's not the most stable character in Jaws anyway, mentally. But that's not what I'm getting at. I'm just saying, when I see something I don't like, I don't just want to say I don't like it and leave it be. I want to try and explain how, within the confines of their own narrative and their own technology and everything they're establishing, I would have personally preferred to see it go. I just don't want to hand wave things away and it's like, I didn't like it. The end.
I don't know why they didn't have forest fire helicopters in the Arctic Circle. I just don't know why.
I walked that one back, admittedly. But they did have the one helicopter, and I talked about how they could have put a bunch of those water jugs together with a bomb as a proof of concept. Because you're right. They probably don't have those giant, tailspin-style planes. You know,
Tailspin, it's the opposite of Tailspin.
yeah. So, but I'm not just trying to be negative. I'm trying to say within the concepts of the storytelling they have, there are certain things I think would have worked better while still being within universe. That's all I'm trying to get at. But anyways, that's all the time we have for this. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, Chris Sabicki. That's it. That's the end of that.